Okay, my name is Wilfred Wong. I've been in the industry for 8 years. I'm a director in the company Ascendance Wealth Management in AIAFA. I was in a stage of my career where I was thinking about how to more effectively coach my associates. I feel that I was very good at helping my associates who were very similar to me to succeed because they succeeded through my methods. But when I met people who were drastically different from me, I struggled to bring out the best in them. And I never admitted this, but this was a insecurity of mine for many years. And that made me reach out to AAS because I felt like I needed a framework and blueprint to help other people succeed, even though they are different from me. Yeah, so I was really doing 2 TOTs by the time I met AAS, and I did 3 COTs and 3 MDRTs as a personal producer. And I managed to grow 27 MDRTs or so. So logically, if you think about that, it seems like I have no pinpoint and I was in my comfort zone, but not really. The victories of these people were nothing compared to the failures that I actually experienced from FCs who really wanted to succeed. They just needed a proper framework and blueprint to get them there. But I felt like it was a bit disappointing for me to unable to provide that. So while I'm not trying to save everyone, I'm trying to make sure that as many associates benefit from my structure as much as possible, and I desperately needed a structure to bring them to where they want to go. So I think when they tell me about their challenges, what they face in prospecting, in their closing ratio, in basically the market that they're going towards, the first thing that I thought of was how did I succeed? Yeah, how did I succeed? What methods did I use? And then immediately I told them and showed them exactly how I did it. So what I did not manage to solve was to figure out what really matters for them. And something AS taught me was this thing called 1 times 1 times 1, which makes me realize that every single individual FC has their own unique way of succeeding through their own 1 times 1 times 1. 1 times prospecting method, 1 times opening angle, and 1 times closing presentation. And I realized that this way, with a framework, I'm able to customize success for every individual. People around me, not really. I think it's mainly how I saw myself. I always wanted to be a leader that could understand every individual, no matter how different they are. And it just affected my confidence in building after a while. So sometimes when I try to meet a potential recruit, right, and they're so different from me, even though they're so hardworking, I doubt myself whether I was able to bring them to where they want to go, which I hated that feeling. Yeah, I wanted to make sure that I'm confident in my abilities. Okay, I found out about AAS. Actually, I saw Ben online 8 years ago in 2018 when he was in the industry as well. So because he's so out there, he's always speaking a lot on camera and everything, I was skeptical about the value he could provide because he's different from me. He's very like loud and in your face, while I'm more PR. Yeah, so I've known him for very long. And then I started having some associates in my company who they were different from me, but I saw that they were succeeding in their own ways. And every time when I asked them, so who taught you this? They mentioned Ben, always. So as skeptical as I was at the start about the effectiveness of Ben's coaching, I decided that if there's outcomes, it deserves a discovery call. So and with that pain point of mine that I mentioned just now, I reached out to Ben to see what he could show me, and I was quite sure that I would get nothing out of it in that first call. Yeah. So when I met Ben for the first time, Melissa introduced me to Ben as well, Mel. The first call, I remember that he was asking me a lot of questions, understanding my situation. I was pretty sure he would be trying to tell me solutions, but he did not give me any solution. And he was really listening to me about the struggles I was facing in management. And he acknowledged that I have considered success because he already knew me for 8 years. So he did not think of my accolades as a stumbling block to him not being able to help me. In fact, I felt like he really understood me, because it's rare that a coach is a practitioner in the industry and someone who has spent more than $500,000 on courses. I felt he truly understood the business side of FA. And from the questions he asked me, from him acknowledging the things that I say, made me feel that he really understands what a leader is going through. I remember when I said okay, and then I even considered, should I pay monthly, so that if this doesn't make sense to me and there's not enough value, I can cancel. So that was my doubts of whether the support system in AAS and the training videos and Ben's advice together with Kelly will be able to solve my problems. And you never know until you actually try. But I did not regret it at all. I think after 6 months, I told Ben, I think I'm underpaying you, because the things that he taught me earned me more than the course fees that I paid, like at least 3x, 4x, 5x. So I thought, yeah, even I had to tell him, I think I should pay you more. because he started teaching me and equipping me with skills and mental models, especially, to run an entire agency of 234. I thought I was just trying to solve maybe 5 people's problems, but the frameworks that he gave me allowed me to serve 2, 3, 4 people. And that has really been a game-changing moment of my 2024 and 2025. So it's really because of the conversations with Ben in the first 2 calls. He gave me some frameworks together with relating to the problems that I was really facing, and I could tell that these frameworks work. I went to apply it in the workplace. Example, can I give you an example? Yeah, so he asked me define what is a warm market. Then I couldn't even define what warm market is, even though I've been doing warm market for 8 years. So he defined a warm market to me, and that simple change in definition allowed me to speak to associates to make them realize that a warm market is way bigger than they thought. And from there, it gave them a lot more insights, more clarity. And sometimes isn't that our role as leaders to give them the clarity and hope that they can do way better than they're currently doing. So I think it boils down to his industry knowledge and how even though he has left the industry as a practitioner, he has not drifted away from being relevant, but he has become more and more relevant because of his constant upgrade and constantly understanding what the industry is going through. So what has changed for me is essentially, in personal sales, generally I changed, basically I think my worldview, my mental model of the entire career has changed. Because of AAS, because of Ben, I even stepped up to take over the executive decisions for the entire company. So I mean, in a way, as a CEO. So I took charge of the whole company because I now have the confidence that I possess the knowledge and support system, my knowledge, guidance from Ben and Kelly, and AAS frameworks to essentially customize success for every individual in AWM. It's a work in progress, but it's heartening and amazing to know I always have AAS to rely on. And I think one of the things they try to do is to make sure that you never have to guess what to do next. So once I find myself guessing, I text Ben and immediately I get an answer. Sometimes he provides me questions which answers me more than answers that he can give. And for every framework that I need, for example, I was asking like, is there any framework to share with me for conversational selling? There's a video and a script right away to actually guide people who do social meetups. So yes, I have the confidence to run the whole company thanks to AAS support. A lot more relieved, heartened, and confident. I think previously I said I felt very disappointed in myself as a leader. I feel like I'm able to do more for people, not just people who are like me, but a person that is drastically different from me. I know that I'm able to, with AAS, the things they teach me, to get them to their own version of success. Things that I couldn't do before, I would say is mental models that, it sounds simple, but it's not. So mental models that help me to make decision-making processes better. Example, he taught me about this thing called more, better, new. Everything we do, think about doing more of it first, do better of it first before thinking of doing something new. So previously, that I couldn't do before, when I meet someone, I'll just keep telling them, okay, it's not working, why not try something new? But through this mental model, it allowed me to make sure, first check whether they are doing enough, and then help them to do it better before thinking about taking a risk to try something new. And that has led to much more efficiency in my business. I guess I can summarize with saying that the best ideas are caught and not taught. So even though I've heard of these things before, but what Ben is able to do is to contextualize my problems that I'm so worried and so has such a big pain point for, to fit to a mental model that solves this problem. So when the problem is in front of me, it's contextualized, and the mental model comes in, it allows me to conceptualize the whole thing as something that's mine. And of course, when I see immediate outcomes from it, makes me feel like this is something I should have done long ago. So I guess reading books, learning mental models will never be the same as if a coach is able to contextualize it for your own problem. So I had a misunderstanding that AAS is only for pre-MDRT advisors in the past. But let me first start off with what I feel is different about AAS. So I've invested in at least, I spent more than 100,000 in total in FA courses over the last, actually now it's more than 160,000 on FA courses in the last 8 years. And most courses, number one, the coach is not a relevant practitioner, which means that they might not understand the problems they're going through, which means their methods might still be old-fashioned, which would be a problem. Next would be, they are usually specialized in a specific thing like referrals, how to get to the high net worth, things like that, which seems to solve problems, but it might not solve the root constraint of something, a challenge that a FC is going through. So when someone asks me what AAS is, right, I phrase and tell them that AAS serves as a platform to provide resources and guidance for advisors so that they never ever have to guess what to do next. Sometimes I even find it hard to describe what AAS provides because they provide everything, like from how the prospecting to opening to closing to mental models to building a team to managing a unit to being an effective leader to financial management, stress management, relationship management. It encompasses the MDRT whole person concept. So I find that amazing, and kudos to the team to have created this over the last decade or 5 years. Yeah, it's the most expensive course I've paid in my life, but the most worthwhile as well. What Ben helped me to see was I thought I was really in a good state in my career, but I realized that I was stagnant. I was no longer as excited as I was before. So Ben allowed me to expand my dreams and goals, and for me to dream a lot bigger about what I can do for the agency. With a big goal, it comes with big problems, and I knew that I couldn't do it myself. I know that by investing in the course, investing in myself, it gives me the license to ask Ben and AAS anything, which to me is priceless because I'm able to skip mistakes, leverage on frameworks that already work, and all in all, that buys me so much time and energy for my priorities in my loved ones and my own personal life. So I would view AAS as a vehicle that I chose to be on. Instead of walking my way to a destination, I would want to be in AAS to get there faster, more comfortable because of the aircon and everything, and have a nice view along the way. That made me extend my 1 year to serve a purpose that's bigger than myself, that was facilitated by Ben. I have seen the impact of my coaching being a lot more compared to before. So measurably would be, I used to give coaching to associates and the actionables always don't happen. Meaning they just say they'll do it and they don't do it, which is a sign to me that I did not manage to understand them as well and I did not give them the urgency. I have found that my coaching has now led to like 90% of them taking action based on what they say, which heartens me, makes me feel like they own their business now and I no longer have to heavy lift the whole thing for them. At the same time, I changed my whole goal setting. The problem with being a manager and director, sometimes you don't have someone else to guide you. So because of the guidance of AS, I reprioritize what I want for my career, and I feel a lot more excited about what I can achieve in the next 3 years now. And income-wise as well, I believe that it will be able to expand my income by 2x to 3x in the next 3 to 5 years. Yeah, so all this will be coming up, and I look forward to that. So for anyone listening to this, whether you're struggling in a business or you're doing well in the business, I would like to remind everyone that seeking help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of wisdom. So seeking help would allow you to open up and be vulnerable about your problems, because sometimes at the highest level, no one cares about your problems. But having someone to hear it out, having a discovery call of AS just to see what they have to say, what they have to understand about you, there's nothing to lose and everything to gain from doing this. So I suggest if you truly want to make yourself excited and happy in the career again, or to get out from your struggling position to being stable in the business, hop on a discovery call and see how, because that's what I did and that's where I am now, and I've never looked back since. Thanks Ben, thanks AS for everything so far, and I will continue to leverage on you guys to get to where I want to go. And because I decided to extend for 1 year, I won't be paiseh to ask for help, and that will make me relentlessly enthusiastic in learning. So I look forward to that.